Alrighty, we're gonna start with video number 2 for CS221. So I'm gonna go ahead and open up VIM, our little editor, and I'm gonna name this. I don't know.
Let's just be variable tests or something. Variable types. I don't know. That's fine.
That's fine.
That's good.
Yeah, then same as always.
Yeah, I've always gotta make sure we include our stuff that we need. Usually you'll just need input output. So that's the IO stream. And you always need the using namespace std. Alright. So which data type do you want to start out with, Puga?
I believe it'd be most useful to start with the most basic one and work our way towards the more complicated one. So let's start with Boolean.
Alright.
This is how we declare a Boolean variable called test.
What is a Boolean variable, Puga?
A Boolean variable is a variable that can be either true or false.
Oh. Cool.
You can assign a value to a variable directly after declaring it. As you can see, the green text tells us what type of variable it is. The gray text right next to it tells us what the name of the variable is. And then we can do something like equals, and we can assign to a variable to it. Well, a value to it. So true, just like that. We can also do something like bool test 2. False.
Nice. We can only have those two, right?
What do you mean?
Can it be equal to 5?
Yeah, right? Because Boolean true is 1 through anything. It's any number that's not 0, and then false is 0. If I got that right. Is that right?
I don't know. I think that works if you're doing like an if statement.
Yeah, that works in an if statement.
But I don't know if you can actually set a Boolean value to 5.
Probably not.
Probably not.
Yeah. Ignore me, I don't know anything.
So I think it's just true and false if you're making a variable like this.
But for future reference, once you get further into this, we'll probably come back to this anyway, but anything but 0 is true. 0 is false.
Yep. Alright, so let's go on to the next one. I think the most used one that you'll do is int. And this is stands for integer, so these are just like your whole numbers. So like we can use 99 or any whole number that you want. It's just an integer value. So you see Puga's typing in, we have two num variables, 99 and 5. And then oh, we can have a third one.
No, it's okay.
Okay.
They get the point.
Yeah, so yeah, it's just any whole numbers. We'll probably come back to integer values, but if you were to have some decimal point number like 0.5 or 1.5, with an integer value, it cuts off that decimal point. So, for example, if you had 0.5 and you stored it into an integer, it doesn't matter how close it is to the next whole number, it's always going to be 0. And then, like for 1.5, it would be 1. So, yeah, so like if you're that example 5.1, it would, as an integer value, it would just be read as 5. If we wanted to store, oh yeah, and even if it's 0.9, it's still going to be read as 5. It chops off at the decimal place, gets rid of all that. But if we wanted to keep the decimal, stuff, we can use two different data types. So we have float and then we have double. So these are precision numbers, and these are the decimal point numbers. So if you have some type of value that needs 3 decimal places or more decimal places, you want a float or you want a double. Now the difference between the two is in memory. So like I think a float has 8 bytes and a double has 16 bytes or something like that. It just gives you how many numbers that it's going to be able to hold. So if you want some type of really precise number that you want, you probably want to use a double. Most cases you'll be using a double. So yeah. And what are our next? Okay, so another data type is a character. This is also a common one, and these are just single characters. I mean, that's what it is. So a character can be any value, and we denote these with single quotes. Double quotes mean a string. A single quote means a character. So we want a single quote. Now a character can be A through Z, capital A through capital Z, and also 0 through 9. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a letter. It can be the character value 1, something that you're not going to do math with. Like with a number like an address, you're not going to necessarily do addresses or math with addresses, so you can, I guess you could store that as a character. So that's pretty much it for the basic data types, and these are going to be the ones that you'll be using most of the time.
We can probably expand this into the second part of this video that we want to do. So we're going to use this right here that you're looking at on the screen for our next video to test around stuff. Okay. So yeah, so we'll just do that.
Probably should do like an add with the numbers.
Oh.
And a divide with the floating point numbers and stuff.
We can do math later. Why don't we first get rid of we show them how this is shown.
Okay.
Okay. So and I'd like to add one more thing. You're probably going to be using doubles a lot more just because extra space is so readily available on computers that it doesn't really matter as much. I think floats were used more when computers were a lot.
When space was more valuable. Now it doesn't really matter. You don't have to do things like that.
You basically have rarely any limitations from horsepower. So why don't we go ahead and end the video right here, and then we'll see you on next video when we're actually going to show you what you can use these different variables for.
Alrighty.
See ya.
Alright.